Hi there, this is Lydia and today I'll be sharing with you how I created this card where I have a cutout panel where I could stamp my sentiment and a layer behind my stamped images. As I want the diagonal cutout to be about 3/4 of an inch across where the gap is, I've cut the card layer that I'll be using the 3¼ inches that will be there. So I've cut it short so when I open it out later it will fit exactly how I want it. What I've then done is I've taken a pencil and a ruler and I've drawn a really faint line in a diagonal across there so I can use a rubber to get rid of that later. I'll be using this set from W+9. This is watercoloured anemones and I really love this set. You can create lots of different effects just using this one set. I'm going to start by using one of the fullest images and I'm going to do this in a really light pink. I'm going to be using a mixture of pinks, yellows and a aqua colour. So I'm going to ink up in my lightest colour first with my largest image and stagger these along the diagonal line that I drew in before. I like to work in threes, so I'm going to put 3 of these down first. Once I have that down, I'm going to get some of the yellow flowers in place. I'm then going to take the second larger image here and I'm going to ink this up with a yellow colour. I'm using some inks from Alti New and these are the crisp inks and they work so well for these kind of layering images. And I'm just going to place these flowers next to the pink ones. So I'm following that diagonal line again. Once I have the main images, I'm then going to go on the detail images. There are 3 layers for the flowers, but I'm going to colour the 2 top layers in the same colour, so I'm only using 2 colours for my flowers. And just line them up where they're supposed to go. It's easier if you get over the top of these images to get them into place. Once you've done it a couple of times though, you'll start to remember what kind of angle they need to go at. If you don't get the angles quite right, it's not really that much of a big deal though. I'm going to wait till that one dries, so when I layer this one over that one it will give a darker shade. So I'm going to move on to the pinks before I do that one. Move on to the pinks and add the second layer on. As I wait for the pink layer to dry, I'm going to take the same yellow, the darker yellow again, and do a layer over the one that we did a second ago. So this will make that layer a little bit darker. So instead of using 3 shades of ink, we've only used 2. But you're still getting a really good effect. I'll do the same for the pink layer now. Once you're happy with your flower positions, it's then time to get some leaves in. And I'm going to be using the set of 2 leaves that's very close together just to start. And then I'm just going to keep adding some leaves in. You may want to cross over the line at this point to add leaves to both the top and the bottom flower without adding any more bulk. There is layers for these leaves, so I'm going to use a darker green to add these layers in. There are some smaller foliage leaves without a layer if you felt happy about using those in between the flowers. And I'm going to add a bit more colour using the small foliage with a turquoise tide pool from Hero Arts, and I'm just going to add these in just to brighten the foliage up. I find this gives a little bit of difference as well. And instead of adding colours in the flowers, you're adding it in the leaves. Makes it a bit more interesting. There are two different flower centres in the set, and you can layer these up and stamp them as many times as you want to create different effects. I like to have different centres in mine, so I'll stamp one in one and then stamp it another couple of times in another, just to add a bit more of a random effect to the flowers. And then there's the second one, and I stamped that in a dark grey ink, sorry, that was from Hero Arts, and I'll stamp the tiny little one with black ink just to give a bit more dimension. And you could do the same with this, stamp it more than once just to mix up your flowers a little. Once you're happy with your stamping, what you're going to want to do is cut along the line, the pencil line that you drew before, just to create the gap. So I have my cut pieces now, and you can see that when I line them up on my card now, I have a gap through the middle there. I'm really happy with that. And what I'm going to do to that is I'm going to add my sentiment in. I have this little set from W+9, and this is Quite Like You. And I see that I Quite Like You a lot fits lovely in that little gap that I have, so I'm going to be using that sentiment. I'm going to do my stamping before I've adhered my panels down, as I want my panels to be higher, so I don't want that to affect my stamping. So I'm going to do it like this first, and then add the double-sided adhesive behind my panels. I'm going to stamp this in the same black that I used for the inside of the flowers, and I'm going to add that in at an angle. I'm now going to add some double-sided tape to the back of my panels and stick them down. I now have my panels in place with some double-sided adhesive, so I have some dimension. I'm then going to just take some sparkling clear sequins from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm going to add them around my sequin a little, just for a bit of sparkle. So I'm just going to add 5. I always tend to add an odd number, as I think it's more pleasing to the eye. And again, I do it in groups, so I'll do 3 in one group and 2 in the other. And also placing it around the sentiment helps focus your eye on the sentiment. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and have a beautiful day.